Alright, I'm going to be going after Vicious Gaan-Telet's Curious version. Again, but for real this time. And I'm going to be doing it with the Vicious token. Again, but for real this time. I feel like I've cried wolf a little by putting out that previous video announcing a Curious Vicious Gaan-Telet Vicious token win, when if you actually go to it, I don't technically level up past level 4 or kill anyone in the tower, or have a strategy that can actually be physically implemented in the game. But I promise this one is going to be more legit. I immediately took the Health Pact, Warriors Pact I think it's called, from the Pact Maker. The reason for that is Body Pact I could make good use of, but I'm going to be doing a lot of manipulation of very specific health and damage reduction and regeneration rate values. And when you start adding all these 1% resistances that change constantly, it becomes very, very hard to get the exact values you need. I start worshipping JJ and immediately desecrate Tiki so I can get my petition. I really don't want to take any corrosion. It makes the math a little more awkward, and I don't want to have to certainly don't want to spend my burn salve early, since might need it later. So at the moment, I'm just exploring around, farming up. Let Me See was a great find, because it showed me the Halpme glyph up in the top right. I didn't scum super aggressively here, but if I completed the courtyard and found all the glyphs and none of them were Halpme, I did reset because of that, because Halpme is going to be absolutely indispensable to our strategy here. Mousing over a lot of monsters, not because I think I can fight them now, but because I am checking out their attack values. I'm going to want to land on specific damage reduction amounts, attacking monsters with specific attack power, so knowing what's available to me is going to be important. Turning a couple potions into stats there. Who needs potions, really? I haven't really been attacking monsters at the moment, and even though I could get some reshrouding out of it, and that's because, well, I don't really care. At level 1, reshrouding can be sort of an inconvenience, because then you just need to re-explore the stuff you just reshrouded to find what you're looking for. Good, I found the last attack booster. Now, recently the devs are talking about how it would probably be best if attack power couldn't fall below 1, as opposed to the current version where it can go down to 0. So because of that, I want to make sure this run is completely legit, so I'm going to avoid going down to 0 attack power. Troll starts with negative 30% attack bonus, and I've got a lot of weakening, so I needed to find all 3 attack ups before I could allow myself to actually attack things freely with all this weakening blow around. After damage reduction, I'm taking 3 damage a hit, and I am healing 2 per tile, so that's the best we can do. If we attack, then a tile will be shrouded, and we explore a tile and we get all but 1 of our health back. It's not... At this level, we can't go infinite on it yet, but that's the sort of system we're trying to set up. Systems where there's a monster with exactly enough attack power to shroud a tile for us, so we can do that sort of attack, explore cycle, and only lose 1 health each time. turning another health potion or mana potion into mana, because a 3 fireball mana bar would be very nice for killing some of these vicious token statted enemies. I suppose I should mention, since I didn't say it explicitly before, I did prep Codex. And it's not because Avatar's Codex is the best item in the game, even though it is, but it's also because I don't want to kill my... I suppose blood cows isn't the right word, but that's basically how they act. I suppose you could call them shroud cows. I don't want to kill them, so I need to weaken myself down to 1 health to make sure that they live. But I also... That was a mistake there. I popped the burning stack, which undizzied the wraith, so I undid my work in that battle. Oh well. This is the sort of precise technical play to avoid making mistakes that is apparently not necessary to win Vicious Gaan-Telet anymore. But yeah, I'm reducing all my attack power in order to keep my blood cows alive, so because of that, gotta get my damage somewhere. It's gonna have to be from spells, and if you want to deal damage with spells, it's nothing quite like Avatar's Codex. Alright, now that level 2 Meat Man is no longer a perfect Shroud Cow for us, because leveling up increased both our health regeneration and our damage reduction. Currently, we have 6 damage reduction and 3 regen per tile, so we'd really like to find a 10 attack power enemy. We can't really. The best we can do at the moment is something with 11 attack, like that level 2 Goo Blob, which would make us lose 2 health per cycle, which isn't ideal, so we're going to try to burst through this level pretty quickly and hope that next level we land on a more useful number. Still going to attack the Goo Blob when I've got spare health and I need to explore to refill my mana, because why not? It may not be the most efficient way of turning health into mana, but most classes can't do that at all, no matter how inefficiently. I mean, I say that, I know the Blood to Power glyph is right there, but you know what I mean. In terms of darkness, it's not doable. Getting as much shrouding done before I get my level up full heal. Alright, 8 shielding and 4 regen per level means 13 is the perfect number of attack for monsters to have. That, unfortunately, is nowhere close. The Dizzy level 3 Meat Man has 12 attack, and I think the next best after that is like 17 or 19 or something like that. We've landed in a bit of a trough in terms of getting the exact values we want. Alright, now note I attacked that Goo Blob there. I lost 3 health, but a tile's still shrouded, even though I have 4 regen per tile. That is the current glitch that Troll has, where sometimes it'll shroud a tile when you don't deserve to. So, I don't know what causes that. I really couldn't imagine, but that means that I'm going to refrain from attacking that Goo Blob now that I know that that's a something that triggers the glitch. Again, no idea what the cause is, but... And I suppose you could argue that this run isn't 100% valid since the glitch did happen there, but I think you could tell I didn't really profit from it, and I'm certainly not going out of my way to abuse it, so... If anything, you'll see later on I actually suffer some because I can't take actions I would normally want to, because those actions happen to trigger the glitch. Alright, level 4. Each time we level up, the ideal monster attack power essentially goes up by 3, because we gain 2 shielding from plate mail and 1 health regen from just leveling. So because of that, we are now at 5 regen, 10 shielding, so we really want a 16. And monsters with 16 attack don't seem to be super forthcoming. All of the level 5 monsters are not super great for us. It's hard to kill higher level meatmen with vicious token stats with just Codex. Their health bar is just too big. And Zombie is in a similar position. And that stupid snake will poison us. So I'm going to be eating some popcorn here in order to level up. I'm not super happy about having to do that, but I don't really see much of a better option, and getting to level 5 will be worth it, because level 5 is where we can start to do some fun stuff. And that's just because of where the damage values happen to land. That level 3 zombie has 19 attack. Our current ideal attack power for a monster to have is 16, it goes up by 3 with every level. So next level, that level 3 zombie will be the perfect Shroud Cow for us. I am trying to kill them with Wait What, so that I can get the extra experience for that. I do notice that we are running quite low on darkness, which is a little worrying to me. Once we level up, that won't be a problem, but we do need to have enough darkness to get to next level. So because of that, I'm going to be acting carefully. The serpent dies in 3 fireballs, so once we're ready to level up, we've gotten all the other XP we need, we can do that. I can't actually punch this dragon spawn to death at the moment, it currently has more health than I do. I'm going to have to either help me or explore, and I did both. Might have been inefficient. I do need a full 18 mana bar to take down that serpent at the end of this level. So some of these little monsters I'm going to be killing off without the benefit of Wait What for bonus XP. Again, not super enthused about that, but it's money's a bit tight right now. Alright, 2 XP from leveling, we can punch these serpents to death. That'll also make sure they don't poison us in future. They're not very good punch targets because of that. Alright, level 5. We have 6 rage regeneration per tile, 5 base plus 1 from converting Lemmy, and we have 12 damage reduction. So monsters need to have 19 attack to give us Shroud. And that level 3 zombie I've just put in the top right corner has exactly 19 attack. So every time I punch that zombie and explore a tile, I'm net losing 1 health and gaining 1 mana. But with health mana, every time I spend 5 mana, I can gain 20 health. So 5 punches and 5 explores followed by a health nut is me gaining 15 health with no downside. And that is the core of our infinite. Now I'm playing peekaboo with this zombie to get piety from Jahora Jaheyu. You'll notice my mouse movements here are very mechanical. I do have a bit of a script for this, which is part of why I put them in those exact positions. The other reason is that Troll Shroud's the furthest tile. If I put them on opposite sides of the map, they're guaranteed to be the furthest tile from each other. As you can see, the script is not clicking any faster than I could. This is not going to run an unreasonably large number of times. It's nothing like the last one. This is just the fact that they're on opposite sides of the map makes it kind of a pain to do by hand. You have to like move the mouse cursor all the way across the map every time, which might make me sound like the laziest person on the planet. And I won't refute that. Yeah, I'm not going to refute that. That's all there is to it. Eventually I will stop using the script because I realize, hey, I can get JJ Piety faster without it. But it's doing well enough as it is. Now, you might say, oh, well, it's another infinite piety trick, just like the last one. And to that I would say, no. That's not really it. So, with the tiki-tuki, 0 attack power, flail your arms at someone and let your dodges kick in sometimes thing, all you're getting from that is piety. There would be no reason to reduce your attack power to 0 and flail your arms against someone if you didn't have tiki-tuki giving you piety for it. In contrast, what we're doing here, this ability to gain health and reshroud tiles, this would be valuable even without the benefit of Johora Jaheyu. I can turn 7 HP into a shrouded tile, and I can gain 15 HP whenever I want. So using this loop, I can shroud as many resources, as many tiles as I want, if I'm willing to punch, explore enough. I'm going slowly here and exploring this specific tile because I want to get Johora Jaheyu piety as well, but that's not the core of what's going on here. I didn't find an infinite piety loop. I found an infinite darkness loop. And darkness is ultimately the most fundamental resource of desktop dungeons, isn't it? Infinite darkness implies infinite health. Infinite darkness implies infinite mana. Infinite darkness implies infinite piety. We're going to get some very nice boons from these, farming infinite piety here, but those boons on their own would not win us the run. This isn't like that other video where it's like, in theory you can get 5 million reflex potions and just dodge everything forever. Like, okay, I turned all my potions into giant health and mana bars. That's nice, but it's not actually enough to win Curious Vicious Gaan-Telet with Vicious token applied. It's really the ability to gain infinite darkness that matters to us. But we have to be very careful with this power, because again, every time we level up, the ideal monster attack power changes. It goes up by 3. This level 3 zombie is a useful Shroud Cow for now, but once we've leveled up, it'll be useless. It won't shroud at all. Or, worse, maybe it will shroud, but it shouldn't, and it'll only be shrouding because of that glitch, which means we absolutely can't attack it. So because of that, I'm not going to do steady leveling while I'm doing this. I want to get as much done as I can while I'm at level 5, and build up enough resources to tide me over until the next time I can set up a nice, stable loop that will let me refill my darkness at will. And this is where I start farming faster, because I realize, hey, why don't I just explore into 3 monsters each time? I don't have a script for this, I'm just doing it by hand. Definitely feels a lot better. The level 5 Meatmans have 25 attack power. That's 6 more than the zombie does. So if I can level up twice, I can start using one of those as a Shroud Cow instead. If I only level up once though, I won't have such a good Shroud Cow. I think technically I could still go infinite with them even if they're dealing 4 damage per cycle instead of 1, but it would run really, really slowly, and frankly things run slowly enough with the troll already. I'm sure you've seen this is a 2-hour video, which maybe is about to be expected from Vicious Gaan-Telet, but I certainly don't think I've ever had a run as long as this. Alright, buying the last boon. So we've traded all of our health and mana potions in exchange for massive health and mana bars. And I think that's going to be worth it because it means that we're going to be very good at killing one monster at a time using our full health and mana bars if we've been able to fully heal out of combat. And because of the troll's ability to create infinite darkness, I haven't started actually farming darkness yet. Currently I've just been farming piety, but I've been gaining health and mana this whole time. So once I'm done with Johora Jaheyu, I'm going to start increasing the amount of darkness on the map, and you'll see. But yeah, massive health and mana bars play very well with the ability to full heal out of combat at basically no cost. And now we're going to switch over to Mystera, because again, we gain mana each time we punch our Shroud Cow and then explore. So this loop means infinite mana is available, which means infinite spellcasting, which means infinite Mystera piety too. I know you were probably hoping, oh thank god, Johora Jaheyu's all out of boons, this farming phase is finally over. To that I say, you haven't seen anything yet. The farming phase never ends. Look at that darkness encroaching on the left side of the map. Kinda turning desktop dungeons into one-way heroics here. Just broke my death protection by accident there from clicking too much. That gave me a bit of a scare. For the most part, now that I can go infinite, I'm trying not to use my death protection at all. I don't need to, because who cares about being resource efficient out of combat? I have infinite out of combat resources. But I'm terrified that a single misclick will kill me and undo everything I've done, so I want to have my death protection available at all times as a safety net. Sometimes after I cast Kalma a bunch of times while also attacking, right-clicking stops working. I usually just move my character a little bit, and then it starts working again. So if you see me suddenly stop attacking my Shroud Cow with half my health left, and then move and start attacking again, that's all that's going on. Now we see the darkness filling the map slowly but steadily. It's worth noting there's a second Tiki-Tuki altar. I think that's because of Prepping Conjunction. It tries to create a new altar. All 9 gods are already here, so it just makes a 10th altar that's a copy of one of the previous ones. And what's interesting is that Tiki's altar here is not desecrated, even though Tiki's other altar we already desecrated. Which I suppose makes sense. It's consistent with the you can desecrate Earth Mother twice thing that apparently people do in normal Vicious Gaan-Telet when they're not... when for some reason they don't have infinite resources available. That's a bit surprising to me. So if we want, we can desecrate that other Tiki-Tuki again later. We can also convert to them, I'm not actively planning on it, because, again, I'm not letting my attack power go down to 0, which means I can't farm Tiki-Tuki piety very easily, and if I'm attacking my Shroud Cow while I'm worshipping Tiki-Tuki, Tiki's gonna get mad. I suppose if I built up enough darkness in advance, I could potentially beat up some weaker monsters that aren't, that don't damage me at all, then explore, then beat them up, then explore, then beat them up. But dodge Tiki-Tuki piety is gained so slowly that I really don't want to take the risk of however much darkness I prepare not being enough and getting stranded in Tiki-Tuki. Alright, 30 max mana. It's a pretty good amount of max mana, I think, considering we have 0 items and 0 class features that boost our max mana. So I bought all of the extra max mana from Mystera, but I still want Mystic Balance because making my fireballs cheaper as a Codex user is just so good. And it'll make my Wait What's cheaper too. But being able to cast a full clip of 6 fireballs with a massive health bar and damage reduction to back it up and protect me from the retaliates, that's what's going to allow me to actually fight the tower monsters with vicious inflated stats. Oh yeah, speaking of which, there's tower monsters. We haven't really been up there. I think we poked our head in and it was Frostblades. That's fine, I didn't scum for a specific tower this time. I don't really need to, as you can see. Alright. Now I've filled the world with darkness, and I realize I have to actually walk through the darkness to find stuff to kill. So I'm looking for worthy opponents, monsters higher level than me. Meatman is out of the question, it's too fat. Level 6 dragon spawns I can deal with, though. Dragon spawns are pretty fat. They take 4 fireballs to kill. But I've got 6 fireballs, so what do I care? They're a magic user, so Mystera docks me a little piety for killing them. Level 7 Golem is potentially interesting. I've got Weakening and Infinite Mystera Piety, so in theory I could buy enough Weakenings to just completely remove its resists. But that sounds really boring and annoying. We've got a nice Serpent right here to play with instead. And please enjoy this Serpent kill. It's the only time in the entire run I kill a monster 2 levels higher than me. All other kills are no more than 1 level higher than me. Alright, that was it. The only level +2 or higher kill in the entire run. The ideal monster attack power is 22. My Shroud Cow no longer functions. The level 5 Meatmans do function as Shroud Cows, but very inefficiently. Not inefficiently enough that I'm not going infinite, but you saw how long that took even with a perfectly efficient Shroud Cow. I'm okay with killing the level 7 meat man because I don't think my defenses are ever going to get high enough that 43 is going to be an ideal attack value for a monster to have. In theory, it could happen if I went to Earth Mother and bought a bunch of Vine Forms, but since I didn't find an Ima Wall this run, I don't really want to do that. This method can farm. This trick can farm. I don't know if it's infinite or just near infinite. Either way, it's really good. You can farm a ton of Earth Mother piety if you got Ima Wall and Endoswall, and you can get Endoswall from Binlore guaranteed. But I didn't go for that route because inventory management is a huge pain. We are feeling those limited slots. And in addition to that, I didn't get Ima Wall because I would rather worship Jahayu immediately and get Wait What, because Wait What is an extremely valuable glyph. It makes monsters with bad effects not counterattack. It lets us position monsters on opposite sides of the map so that we can hit them and get Johora piety. It lets us position our Shroud Cow near whatever's important to us so that it doesn't shroud the part of the map we're interested in. Rip level 3 zombie. It outlived its usefulness. Right now I'm 1 XP away from leveling up, so I can do the usual level up shenanigan, where you full heal. We're getting a lot of Frostbite, and that's okay. Frostbite works like Corrosion, where if you're taking 0 damage, you don't take Frostbite damage. And if you take 0 damage, then even though you don't take Frostbite damage, you still manage to lose your Frostbite stacks. So with all these weak monsters around that we can freely punch without being hurt, it's pretty easy for us to discharge Frostbite stacks. I'm gonna kill off a Wraith because we don't really want to punch them very much. Mana burn sucks. Alright, level 7. And just an update, we are at 8 regen and 16 damage reduction, which means the level 5 Meat Man with 25 attack power is the perfect Shroud Cow for us. Don't worry, we're not going to spend as long at level 7 as we did at level 5. We no longer have 2 gods to farm up enough piety for all of their boons for, but we do want to at least replenish the darkness that we've spent so that we can have something to tide us over for future levels. We're actually pretty okay on future levels for now, though, because I believe the level 4 Dizzy Zombie in the bottom right corner has 28 attack power, which means even if we level up, we'll still have a perfect Shroud Cow. I'm gonna move this Meat Man near the first floor entrance. That way, no matter how much I play with it, it'll shroud only parts of the map that I don't care about. This is a little more aggressive than I need to be. I'm just a little on edge and want to make absolutely sure I don't lose this run. After each time I get frostbitten, I can punch that golem to get rid of the frostbite at no cost. I can also just forget about that and punch and fireball the frostblade several times in a row and not care, because it is not a threat to me. I don't think Naga Frostblades were even a particularly good first tower floor. In fact, their magic resistance makes them kind of bad. There's a couple others that would be worse, though, and it ultimately doesn't matter. Fighting these tower floors is funny because there's so little explored space that a lot of the time it'll just randomly shroud places you care about. Yeah, seeing that 28 is very reassuring to me. It means I don't need to bank darkness a level in advance. Alright, I punched the zombie, lost 10 health, explored, gained 9 health. Perfect. A lot of the time when I level up, I'll punch a monster and then explore just to remind myself what my exact regen value is. Make sure I'm on the right page. Again, if I'm off by 1, if the monster I'm attacking is 1 attack power too low, then it will still shroud, but it shouldn't, and I'll be cheating. Now there's a great penalty for the tower to give me. Oh no! Not a lack of darkness, whatever will I do? A little awkward that I can sort of naturally get them down to 1 health by popping the burning stack. It'd be nice if they had 1 less HP, so... You might be wondering, by the way, I probably should have mentioned this explicitly earlier, I didn't take Mystera's Flames boon, even though I'm not trying to deal physical damage at all, and I'm only dealing magic damage, so Mystera's Flames boon would be great for me. The reason for that is Mystera's Flames boon will give me a -% damage bonus total, which means that it will drop my total attack power to 0. And since that's something that the devs have said, yeah, they wish 0 attack power wasn't a thing, I am specifically avoiding going to 0 attack power, just so that nobody can say I'm exploiting such a technique. I'm only exploiting exactly what Troll is meant to do, which is this infinite darkness nonsense, I guess. I really don't know how much of it is intended, but like, Avatar was talking on the boards about how, like, you know, if you're really careful with like your punching and regenerating and stuff, you can get very high efficiency. I'm not sure he realized you could actually get 100% efficiency or 110% efficiency. There was some mention that Halpma only works at lower levels, and well, obviously I disagree. In fact, level 1's the only level when Halpma can't make you go infinite. Now, at higher levels, it can be harder to find a monster of exactly the right damage value, just because the damage values are so spread out. So it takes a little more work to set up. You probably have to manipulate your resistances or your healing factor a little bit. But once you've done it, obviously Halpma is quite silly. Without Halpma, all we'd be able to do with each cycle is turn 1 health into mana. We would not be able to go infinite. Alternatively, we could get infinite mana, but we can only do that while at low health, because it would involve using our death protection as part of the cycle. We would have no way to refill our health, though. Right. Level 9, I have 20 shielding and 10 healing per tile, so the ideal monster attack power is 31. There are no monsters with 31 attack around, so I'm going to have to just deal with it for now. What I'm really looking forward to is level 10, because Grim Malice kind of throws off all of the calculations. I'm going to kill a few weak monsters to remove those curses, because I really like my resistances. Ouch. And here we have a problem. Beholders. They have an incredibly nasty combination of abilities with riposte and mana burn. So if I hit them with a fireball, they hit me back and I lose my I lose all my mana. Normally, I would just make them dizzy, and that would work if they had Retaliate Fireball, or if they were just, you know, a normal monster under the influence of Avatar's Codex. But Riposte, I learned in Endless Blizzard, functions even through dizziness. So I've checked all the shops frantically, hoping there's a soul orb somewhere I missed. Bad news, there isn't. And at this point I'm like, well, what can I even do here? Don't think I can get enough Earth Mother piety for her to, like, take me through all of these things. I don't have any mana potions left. I spent all of those. I assumed a giant mana bar would be helpful and wouldn't be entirely drained on the first cast. So I'm definitely panicking at this point. It's about 4 AM when I'm playing this, by the way, so I'm not even thinking super clearly. Getting a bit worried, starting to think maybe I just have to scum for Soul Orb? Like, is that the only option? And yes, that's exactly what I do. I just stop the run and upload a video with an extra, like, 2 hours of nothing at all after the run ends. No, of course, that's not quite what I do. I will eventually come up with a solution. Maybe if I mouse over these beholders one more time, their stats will magically change and mana burn will go away. Maybe if I check these shops one more time, one of them will have changed to be a soul orb. There's a lot of magical thinking involved here. And there's the solution. Blood to power. I'm going to convert my shield to make room to pick it up. So, there's my plan. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but you'll note while I was punching that level 1 golem, I was only taking 1 damage a hit, but tiles were still being reshrouded. That is not how it's meant to work. That is the glitch coming into play. I still don't know what causes it. I have to think that the curse had something to do with it, but I really don't know. So if you want to say that makes this run illegitimate, then, you know, you could do that, I suppose. I over blood to power there one more than I meant to. I am using my death protections here. I don't like using my death protections because it makes me feel like one misclick and I'm dead, but I really have no choice for dealing with these guys. Even with my massive health bar, when my health bar is meant to be casting both my health and my mana, and I'm getting reposted and retaliated on. It's not like I'm lucky to have the health resources that I do. Now there's something weird. She shrouded herself when I attacked her. Riposte seems to apply its retaliate separately, or seems to apply knockback separately from the regular retaliate. So when you fireball a retaliating riposting enemy, you get knocked back 2 tiles, and that knocked me all the way to the center of the map, which meant any of the 4 corners could be the furthest tile away from me, and the one she was in happened to be the one the game chose. So that's kind of funny. Right, I punch that meat man, lose 13, I explore, I heal 11. I'm losing only 2 health on each cycle, so this is close to optimal. And what's great is we are level 10 now. From now on, leveling up won't affect our regeneration, it won't affect our plate mail, which means this meat man can continue being our Shroud Cow for the rest of the game. We never again need to worry about finding a new one. So that's huge. Because my biggest fear throughout the whole leveling phase is getting stranded at a level with no Shroud Cow and not enough resources left to get to the next level. Because look at that health and mana bar. This is a very resource intensive build. It just happens to have the resources it needs. I'm getting as much darkness as I can now because I'm going to get mana burned when I go back in there, and once I'm mana burned, I can't actually make a profit on each cycle anymore. So because of that, I am preparing, which means I do sort of still have that fear of being stuck at a level when I can't fix things. If worse comes to worse, I do have that burn salve. I'd rather save it for if something corrodes me later. I don't know that there's any corrosive enemies in this dungeon. If nothing else, there's that one climbing a tower floor curse thingamajig that corrodes you and mana burns you and does some other bad stuff. So it would be really nice to have burn salve available to undo that. Converted Isorf there to increase my health regeneration by 1. Now I'm taking 13 damage and healing 12 from each tile, so this is an absolutely perfect, maximally efficient Shroud Cow. This is how Desktop Dungeons is meant to be played. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. The world just keeps getting darkened. Can you believe I got up this morning and I was like, you know what, I'm pretty sure I can come up with 2 hours of commentary over me doing the same loop over and over again. Also, I'm pretty sure people will definitely want to watch 2 hours of me doing the same loop over and over again. Let's get started on these fights. Because all the monsters on these floors are the same, it sort of feels like once you've killed one, you've killed them all. You sort of repeat the process for the remaining ones. Obviously that wouldn't necessarily be the case if, you know, I couldn't fully heal completely effortlessly between fights, but I can, so whatever. And luckily we have just enough health bar to fuel us through all of this. The item on the ground is the long rant. I don't really feel like I need it. Monsters in general aren't really posing that much of a threat to me. Like, I can't imagine anything being worse than these stupid repost mana burners, and I've survived them. You feel your magic withering slightly. Oh no! They all have Retaliate Fireball. It's one of the nice things about Avatar's Codex is it kind of ignores a lot of the bad stuff the tower does to you. I need to kill 2 of these to level up. I would like to do that before. I would like to do that without drinking my burn salve and to cure my mana burn or eating popcorn because I like having more resources saved for later. Luckily, I've built up a lot of darkness. The monsters on this next floor have Corrupting Aura, I think? No. Curse Bearer. Right, the Corrupting Auras are those other recolored rates. Anyhow, they have Curse Bearer, which I'm not a big fan of. I've got this perfect block level. I really don't want my 20 damage reduction being turned off. So, my goal is to try to fight them with a, what do you call it? Wait, what? Between each hit, so that they can never actually attack me. Now, you might say, well, what about when you kill them? Won't you get a curse then? The answer is yes. I didn't think that far ahead. Alright, I killed that for just for the XP, so that... Seems I've decided, you know what, I've had enough of this nonsense. I am going to just level up to cure my mana burn. Thank you very much. I'm going to do some infinite looping again right now to take care of give me the resources I needed. Especially since I am going to end up being cursed, which will break my combo, so I do want to have a lot of darkness banked in preparation for that. So while I'm doing that, Avatar mentioned when I posted the victory screen, spoiler alert, this is a victory, that you would probably have to nerf something, and that seems entirely reasonable to me. Troll is completely bonkers. The simplest possible nerf, I think, is don't let Halpme spawn for Troll. Like, just don't let it randomly be chosen as one of the glyphs that can drop. That's a bit brute force, I suppose, but it would work. Another thought I had was to prevent this get the exact right amount of block and regen so that you take net 1 damage from each cycle exactly stuff. Idea for that is have it be so that if you are only just barely in the Shroud range, then instead of being guaranteed to Shroud, it has a chance to Shroud. And you would have to be taking damage equal to, let's say, your regen plus your level in order for the Shroud to be guaranteed. That is enough to make that is enough to make Halpman no longer able to go infinite. The specific thing I have in mind is like at exactly if you take damage equal to exactly your regen, you definitely don't Shroud. If you take damage equal to exactly your regen plus your level, you definitely do. And anywhere in between, it sort of scales linearly in terms of probability. So halfway between, there's a 50% chance. With my plate mail turned off, those level 5s are the closest thing I have to Shroud Cows. We can't make a profit on each cycle, I don't think, but they're the best we can do. Now here I'm attacking the level 5 Meat Man instead of the level 1 to pop the Burning Stack. I would prefer to attack the level 1, because then I would take less damage and it would do the exact same thing. The reason I'm not is because I noticed last time when I attacked the level 1 to pop the Burning Stack and kill the first monster up there, that it shrouded a tile. It should not shroud a tile from being hit by a level 1 Meat Man, even with Curse applied. So that's the glitch coming into play. In order to avoid unintentionally taking advantage of the glitch, I can't let myself be hit by that level 1 Meat Man while cursed. So because of that, I have to attack the stronger one and take more damage as a result. So, just to be clear that, like, you will occasionally see, like, a random tile getting reshrouded when it shouldn't, but I really am going well out of my way to make sure that's not what's the deciding factor here. And considering how often the number of tiles I can shroud is all of them if I feel like it, an extra 1 shrouded tile here and there is not going to be what is deciding the run, especially when I'm going out of my way to make it happen as little as possible. Alright, up to 4 burning stacks, and we are really... or not burning stacks, curse stacks, and we don't really have a way of getting rid of them. We only have these 4 monsters left out here. I killed a few monsters to level up to get rid of my mana burn. That was probably a mistake. I killed some earlier to get rid of the curse from the Grim Malice tower penalty. And I killed a bunch at low levels in doing inefficient level up stuff. So it's an unfortunate situation, but I kinda dug my own grave on that front. So what that means is I'm going to have to get through this whole floor of the tower without a perfect Shroud Cow, and with my plate mail not functioning. Luckily, it's just the Fire Weavers. Fire Weavers are something that Codex users are very good at dealing with. Physical resist, not a problem. Do they have Retaliate Fireball? Don't even remember. Unstable, we can work around very easily, and also our health bar is absurd. Basically, they're so irrelevant I don't even remember what abilities they have. Yeah, they do have Retaliate Fireball. Be nice to be able to spend the last of my mana before leveling, but... So, and I suppose I could have popped the Burning Stack, but I don't want to take the risk that there's going to be some weird unstable interaction that I didn't foresee. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with, like, it being kind of weird, fighting with the Shroud in these tiny towers. I'm actually unable to continue fighting that monster without exploring, because each time it hits me and knocks me back, it shrouds one of the tiles next to it that I then automatically explore when I walk back up to hit it again. So that was pretty funny. See what else. 3 curse stacks remaining. As you can see, these folks are not posing much of a challenge, and I am very okay with that. And it seems like, I didn't do anything in particular to set it up, but it seems like their health is working out very nicely with unstable values. As in, like, I seem to be naturally getting them down to 1 HP, and then able to pop the burning stack to finish them. We're doing well, but we are running out of time, and because I'm a really nervous sort of person, even these perfect defenses that I've constructed aren't quite enough for me. I really am worried about running out of darkness and not quite being able to get my perfect Shroud Cow back. The fear is, of course, completely unfounded. We have enough darkness to finish this guy off. That'll remove our last curse stack. And now our plate mill is back online, and the level 6 Meat Man is a perfect Shroud Cow for us. Since it deals 33 damage, we heal 12 per tile and have 20 shielding. That leaves 1 left over. Help is what lets us get, like, infinite usable darkness, and it's also... I put the monster over by these stairs and then realized, oh, it's covering up the next floor's stairs, I'll move it again. Help is what's letting us get this, like, actually be able to make profit on the darkness on the map, and it's what's letting us actually heal from our exploration things. It is worth noting, though, that, you can do pseudo-infinite things without help as a troll. You can't gain infinite health, but while you're at low health and it's bouncing off your death protection, you can gain infinite mana, basically. Which, an infinite mana, of course, means infinite piety with certain gods. There's, Jahora, Jehayu, and Mystera are the obvious examples, but a more subtle one is Binlord. Not truly infinite, but you can cast Endless Wall on as many walls as you want. Another subtle one is Earth Mother. By alternating between Endless Wall and Ima Wall, which you're casting for 0 mana effectively, you can keep the map nice and clean, and also gain tons of piety for all of, like, the things you could possibly want. That's hard to abuse, though, because each time you take a stack of Divine Form, you gain some damage reduction, and that throws off of your perfect defense numbers. And we don't end up using it because we didn't get Ima Wall, and really don't have the inventory space anyhow. But it is worth noting that that is, like, a real thing. Dracul, Glowing Guardian, and Tarok, at least, are thoroughly unimpressed with these shenanigans. Alright, I did all that before checking the next tower floor because I was worried that the next tower floor might be the one that mana burns you. So I wanted to get as much done in advance as I could so that I would be able to, like, fight 2 monsters with Blood to Power. Luckily, it was no experience instead. I'm perfectly okay with no experience. All experience gets me at this point is, like, 1 full heal from leveling up out of combat, and I've got enough out of combat healing, honestly. But yeah, because Troll's Death Protection lets it do those, like, soft infinites, where you get infinite mana but not health, as long as your health is low, I'm kind of left wondering, like, how much of this is... There, look, each time I go forward it explores. I am kind of left wondering how much of this is, like, me going too far with this with this exact count stuff, and how much is just the troll working as intended, because Srid mentioned, or Shada Box I think originally mentioned it, the troll laboratory win at level 1 as a troll challenge, and I did that. I didn't, like, you know, I wasn't able to like flood the map with darkness. There was no health mana involved, but I was still able to get infinite mana. I'll put a video of that soon, hopefully. I got kind of distracted by this. Once I realized I could take on Curious, Vicious Gaan-Telet with Vicious Token as a troll. Troll Lab seemed like small potatoes. The Ratlings have Corrupting Aura. I'm not paying too much attention to that because I've got Infinite Piety, and if I run out and they deal a bit of damage to me, then that's not so bad. What I didn't count on was they are also magical attackers, which means Mystera will not be happy when I kill them. So by playing carelessly there, and not paying attention to their traits, because I thought I could just bulldoze them regardless of the traits. So because of that, I ended up getting myself punished. All monsters have 15% resistances now. Yes, that's the sort of careless, sloppy, thoughtless play that it takes to be a true master of Vicious Gaan-Telet Curious Edition with Vicious Token up live. If you haven't won yourself, I think you're making too few mistakes. Just get punished for no reason. Nah. I feel like if we were doing anything fair, then giving all the monsters an extra 15% resistances for free would probably be a run killer. But if we were doing anything fair, the run would already be dead when I selected this dungeon, so as it stands, what we are doing is the opposite of fair. I'm getting myself some darkness in advance in case I get mana burned on the next sub-dungeon. Because there's still that mana burn tower punishment that's out there. By the way, I popped a burning stack recently by punching that level 1 Meatman. This time it did not do the glitch, so it seems that it was only happening while I was cursed. Like here. No tile shrouded. In fact, it unshrouded a tile by punching me into it. So I don't know the full details of, like, exactly how this glitch works, but curse seems to be involved. These guys have spawn plants, which gives me flashbacks to Hoberix. Hoberix? No, Gitana the Vix. Hoberix is Namtar's name. Not such a big fan of bad guys spawning plants because of that, but they don't have blink. So here's my theory. I'm just going to put them all next to the entrance, which 4 out of 5 were already there, so that's convenient. And then they can spawn plants all they want all over this sub-dungeon. I'm not leaving the stairs. Can't box me in, can't cut me off from anything. What do I care if you flood the island with plants? So it seems like instead of random plants, it's always the corrosive plants. I didn't remember them working that way in Magician Gold when they showed up there. In Magician Gold, they definitely gave me other types of plants, but it seems too consistent here to just be RNG, so I don't really know what the deal there is. Yeah, because Troll sort of like has an inherently infinite nature, I'm never sure exactly where it is that I'm crossing the line, and I'm guessing the ability to make a Darkness Prophet is what's going on. It seems like the devs are okay with Troll being able to like farm mana and piety as long as you don't make a Darkness Prophet or a Health Prophet. Right, next floor. Sound of rushing blood pumps through your ears. Oh no, I don't have... They're all bloodless. I don't particularly care about that. It's kind of nice as a troll not caring about so many of the tower's penalties. Or, not as a troll, as a codex user. Retaliate Fireball? Don't care. Bloodless? Don't care. First Strike? Don't care. We certainly didn't care about no experience this time, although we would have cared a lot if we'd gotten it on the first floor. I think most people don't care about no experience that much after the top floor, and we care about it least of all, but that's less because of codex and more because no experience denies you a free heal, and I think we've got enough free healing. These guys have Corrupting Aura, but not magical attack. So that at least is a relief. I don't need to worry about being punished again. At this point, it's basically a nervous habit. Whenever I'm like not feeling super confident, I'm just gonna farm some more darkness. Definitely unnecessary, but all the darkness will be used someday, so why not? Also, anytime I'm going to be exploring to restore my mana, may as well do some punching. I suppose you could also say may as well not do some punching, since I could always do the punching later instead. But there's only one floor of the tower left, and we still haven't seen the mana burn punishment. So I am concerned about that and do want to have darkness available if that happens. But instead, I feel slow and inadequate. All enemies have first strike, and I could not possibly care less. So we got pretty lucky here. The one punishment that the tower didn't throw at us was mana burn. And, I mean, the mana burn punishment does other stuff. It, like, poisons you and weakens and corrodes, but mana burn's the really scary part. Alright, here I'm going to spend all of my resources in the courtyard, and then go explore up there. Because these guys have chaotic, I feel like it doesn't make too much sense to fight them without first exploring the whole sub-dungeon. And it would also be nice to reposition them a little to make the area a little easier to walk through. Of course it resists, because silly me, I gave all of my enemies magic resist by being careless with Mystera. I want to be at full mana before I try to do anything in this dungeon, because you can never tell how awkward things are going to get in advance. Like here, I can't get back to the monster, I have to do a... Wait, what? So popping the burning stack to kill that monster upstairs still teleports me randomly when I'm downstairs. Before I go after any of the other Undying Sculptors, I'm going to be finishing off the Golem Arbiters that the first ones summoned. I really don't want to be flooded by them, and I certainly have the resources to spare. So, we're gonna play it nice and safe, not let ourselves get boxed in. So what's happening there is I fireball the Golem Arbiter. It kicks me 2 spaces away, because it has Repost and Retaliate. Kicking me 2 spaces away, the second space knocks me into the Undying Sculptor, who makes a new Golem Arbiter. So I went up there to kill a Golem Arbiter, and instead I created 2 more by mistake. So now I know to be very careful of the Repost double knockback thing. Although it is fun to sort of cannonball yourself through walls. It just looks funny to be knocked that far at once. I played the Troll for the first time 2 days ago, I think? Gotta say, I'm thinking it's a pretty strong class. Here I am, not noticing that there's still another Golem Arbiter around. Starting this fight a little early. Luckily, for some reason, Golem Arbiters don't have magic resist. I guess it's because they didn't exist in any form when Mystera first punished me. So, because of that, I can reliably wait what to them. I don't have to worry about, oh, what if they resist and I get trapped? Because, again, I don't have mana potions to bail me out. If I get trapped, that's it. So recently I'm doing a lot of exploration upstairs for this fight. Most of the time I've been doing my exploration downstairs when possible and trying to explore the tower floors only as much as I need to find all the monsters. My reason for that is basically I can refill the downstairs with darkness whenever I want. I can't refill the upstairs with darkness. So in principle, leaving darkness upstairs increases the amount of total banked darkness I can have. See, you thought we were all done with the infinite loops, but now we're, well, at least as done as we'll ever be, but now we've grinded to a halt again because there's all these Golem Arbiters to deal with. So I like to think of this run as Zeno's paradox in action. Every 10 minutes takes us halfway to completing the dungeon, and yet it still seems like somehow we're never going to get there. The ground floor is looking awfully illuminated at the moment. I've been exploring it a lot to deal with these Golem Arbiters and haven't been repopulating the darkness as much as I normally do. So if you're seeing that and you have a sinking feeling in your stomach that you're going to be treated to some more darkness farming in the near future, then you have developed basic pattern recognition. Congratulations. Love the chaotic teleport on the wrong floor. That's just a funny thing. The Golem Arbiters are still upstairs. I see no reason to mess with them. And, my heart is pounding. Horatio awaits. Okay, maybe I see a little reason to mess with them. I would like that wall cruncher to be available. Not sure that I'll ever actually need it, but it would be nice to have it available. I'm checking each of the tower floors for their items. Curse Scroll, I cannot deal with the 3 layers of Curse. And also, the resistances will throw off my exact value. Long Rand could use it on Horatio, don't feel like I need it, and it would like mess up my inventory. Most of these items just not worth the inventory space to pick them up, even the consumables. I think I left Nom Nom lying around somewhere. On the rattling floor, maybe? Alright, this is it. Horatio. Now he has 65% resistances because of Mystera's punishment on top of his normal 50%. That's not so good for us. So here's where I'm coming from. Our fireballs are dealing essentially 100 damage each, including the burning stack and stuff, and they cost us 5 mana. It takes us 5 tiles of exploration to regain 5 mana, which is, what's the word I'm looking for? Which would give the boss 45 health worth of regen. So each 5 tiles I can explore, I can effectively reduce Horatio's health by 55, so I can win by regen fighting Horatio. And I do have the darkness to do it, hopefully. The problem is the resistances. I need a way to strip the resistances, which means I need the Cursed Cutlass in that shop. Unfortunately, I'm 9 gold short. Which means this second Tiki-Tuki altar that I noticed so long ago and had no intention of actually using, its time has come. That wasn't me hovering my mouse over the convert button for a long time thinking. That was me clicking convert and then waiting like 10 seconds while the game was processing. Whoever it was, I think maybe Srid, who suggested that the crashes in the previous runs was something to do with the piety log. I think you're onto something, because conversions and piety events in particular seem to be slowing the game down at this point. And I haven't even gone infinite. Well, I've sort of gone infinite, but I haven't been scripting or anything. It's just a long run. Alright, so I need to get 5 more piety in order to convert out of Tiki-Tuki, because I really don't want to deal with like being stuck in Tiki-Tuki for the rest of the run. I can't really get anything else useful from them, and they're going to be sapping my piety like crazy. I'm considering desecrating Mystera and just going, you've served me well, but all good things must come to an end. But I found enough stray piety sparkles that were accessible that I'm at 48. If I just kill that level 1 meat man, then I'll gain 5 piety, lose 3 to Warrior's Pact, and be at exactly the right amount to convert out. So I do so. And now let's convert away. I'm going to convert to Jahora Jaheu. He's going to trigger less often, I think, than Mystera would. As you can see, there's a huge pause here. I am honestly worried about the game crashing before I can actually finish this run. So I figure JJ's going to have fewer piety events than Mystera, and still going to be useful. Like, having Chaos Avatar as like a fallback is really nice. So Troll Shroud thing is kind of funny here. It cuts off our only way out of the sub-dungeon. I suppose if I really wanted to, then I could have wait-whatted Horatio to near the entrance first. That was my death prediction popping, by the way. I was getting careless. It's about 5 AM now. At the time playing it, maybe like 5:30 by this point. So I am insomnia is crazy. Just like, I can't sleep, I'll do a quick run, I'll probably die soon, and look where it got me. even though I'm not sleepy, my my heart is pounding far too fast for that. It is somewhat affecting my cognitive abilities. I find it really interesting when the troll decides what the nearest and furthest tiles are. It appears to be doing something like actually making a circular pattern, like it's gauging distance in the Euclidean way with like square root of the sum of squares of the coordinates, that sort of thing. It's not doing the blood to power thing where it's a diamond looking at orthogonal moves, and it's not doing the thing that Sun Priestesses, for example, do, where it's based only on orthogonal and diagonal moves considered equivalent. It actually seems to count both orthogonal and diagonal moves, which cost diagonal is like root 2 times as expensive or whatever. Like, it's really interesting, because I don't think anything else in the game works like that, making circles and such. Still stripping down Horatio's resistances, a little bit at a time. It's not fast, but we can handle it. We have all the time in the world. And apparently so do you if you're watching this video all the way through. Jeez. All I'm doing is doing the loop and stuff. Over and over again, I'm really hoping you skipped forward to see the final boss fight, and you didn't actually watch all that stuff before. 14% resistances, 5 more strikes will take care of the resistances. We won't be able to get rid of the Cursed Cutlass, but we won't need to actually be thinking about it, and it doesn't seem like we're going to be leveling up again, unless maybe we have to use Chaos Avatar for some reason. So, we're not too concerned about the curse drawback. Alright, the resistances seem to be completely wiped. Now I want to gain as much darkness as possible before the fight starts, because I'm going to be regen fighting Horatio very slowly. It seems like I can deal 55 damage for every 5 tiles of darkness I explore, was what my calculations said, so about 11 damage per tile. That's very respectable, but he does kind of sort of have 5,000 health, so I'm going to want a lot of darkness available to do that. And I can't be farming darkness once the boss fight starts, because Horatio will just heal off of me doing this loop thing. I don't know. Troll. I love the concept of the troll class, but it does seem rather more abusable at the moment than I would think is entirely desirable. Like, Avatar mentioned nursing coming, and I can't say I disagree. I do think Troll is unusually well suited to this particular dungeon, because the real limiting factor of Vicious Gaan-Telet has always been darkness available. And darkness is like the main resource in every dungeon, but here it really seems like the biggest deal to a greater extent than anywhere else. So this does seem well suited to the troll's abilities, but alright, we're doing it. But even then, I still think this is a sign that something has gone a little too far. I still have a can of Hoopaz, which I forgot to use. At this point, I kind of want to see if I can win without it. If it turns out I started the fight with Horatio too early and don't have enough darkness, and I could just go back and re-explore. Horatio vanishes. Hey, I've cleared only normals, so don't expect vicious stats or any nasty buffs on me. And if you are looking for a creative boss speech, just skip this and continue the fight. Hope you're enjoying this. Zaya, Code Wizard. All things are difficult before they are easy. Cooperative. I was wondering what that buff did. I'm not sure it does anything. So that kind of took me by surprise. When I said I was pretty sure I had victory before from when I did the infinite Quicksilver potion trick, Avatar mentioned that there were some surprises at the end if you, so it might not be as close as you thought. I'm assuming that Zaya making a cameo appearance is what he was talking about. On the bright side, Zaya seems to be at full health, so I feel okay with getting some darkness back here. When Horatio returns, he'll probably be healed to full, but hopefully, I mean, I'm assuming Horatio returns, maybe killing Zaya just immediately switches you to, like, someone else, but, like, he still has, like, most of his health left. I feel like we can't have seen the last of Horatio. Could be a different form of Horatio, like the Phantom Citadel boss, but whatever. Point is, even if it turns out Horatio's going to come back and he's been fully healing from me doing all this darkening, then I'll just re-darken and fight him again, and hopefully this time, like, Zaya's a one-time thing. I'm sorry, Zaya, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I hope you're more than just a one-time thing, but I would rather your in-game character not murder me. Alright, we're fighting. Zaya heals at the same rate Horatio does, so I am making progress even if it doesn't feel like it. Goodbye, Zaya. And Horatio's back. And what's interesting is he seems to have about as much health as when I left, so it seems like it remembered where I was in the Horatio fight, and Horatio didn't get to heal while I was exploring during the Zaya fight. So Zaya was actually kind of a blessing for me. It gave me an opportunity to redarken the map. Thanks, Zaya. I can see why you have the cooperative trait. Helping me out like that. I am running low on darkness, but the Avatar mentioned surprises plural, so I kind of have an inkling that something else is going to happen if I can hold out long enough. Horatio suddenly vanishes. In his place you see a strange character brandishing a paintbrush. All the good format screws are taken. I don't think there's anything meta left to say. Finger guns. Spleen, Illusory Creator. Fragile seems to be like cooperative, just a flavor thing. Physical immune and magic immune is really weird. Doesn't seem like it leaves a whole lot of options. But the predictor showed me dealing 1 damage to him, and if I punch him, and it seems like that's because he's starts with 1 stack of corrosion. So apparently you can deal corrosion damage even through physical immune, which was not something I expected. So I need to figure out how to deal with him, but while I'm pondering that conundrum, I'm going to first redarken the whole map, because based on what I learned before, Horatio should be unable to, you know, heal while I'm doing this. So, here's the issue. I remember there was the long rant from one of the earlier sub-dungeons. I think I can use that to apply 3 stacks of corrosion, so it'll only take 4 hits to kill Spleen instead of 15. The problem with that is long rant is a large item, not a small item. To pick it up, I would have to make room in my inventory. If I convert my plate mail, then my defenses have changed, and I no longer have perfect defenses for the infinite darkening shenanigan. On the other hand, if I convert one of my glyphs, then my health regen has increased per tile, which means that my perfect blood count, this level 6 guy here, is now 1 damage short of actually being able to shroud anything, or at least of being able to shroud anything legally. So it seems like no matter what I convert, my engine is going to be broken. The reason I converted Wait What earlier to make room for the Cursed Cutlass was Wait What came from Jahora Jahayu. It wasn't found on the ground. That meant its conversion value was 0, so it was the one thing I could convert that wouldn't break my setup here. Now I've got nothing left to convert that wouldn't break my setup. I'd love to convert the Cursed Cutlass, but it can't be converted. So a bit of a conundrum here. Do I try to find a way to just deal 15 damage with physical attacks without exploring? Because that guy may as well have super regen or whatever it's called, since at only 15 max HP it'll full heal constantly. I can't regen fight Spleen. So, because of that, the question is, can I get enough defenses to... Can I somehow get the health resources to survive 15 hits? And the answer is, I'm really not sure I can. Spleen hits like a truck, and even if I were to like spend all my health on punches, all my mana on Helpma, all of my health on punches again, then use Jahora Jahayu's Chaos Avatar or Last Chance to get a full restore, even in that situation, I'm still not convinced I would have enough. So I'm pondering this while I'm redarkening the arena, but it does seem like the more I think about it, the more I don't think I have a choice but to convert something, take the long rant, and that means that my Infinite Darkness engine will be ruined. And if my Infinite Darkness engine is ruined, then I better get this arena as darkened as possible before I do that. Bit of a glitch there. The sprite on the map for that Tiki-Tuki altar shows it intact, but if you actually stand on it, it's desecrated, because that's the one I desecrated earlier. I don't really know what that the cause of that is, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with the troll's reshrouding thing, but I feel like that altar was that desecrated altar was shrouded and unshrouded earlier, and it still looked desecrated, so I'm not entirely sure what changed. Realistically, there's probably about as much darkness as I can fit, but I am kind of stalling a bit because I'm really scared to give up my infinite darkness. That's the one thing that carried me through this whole game, and there was always sort of that promise that, you know, even if I was separated from it temporarily for one level or for one dungeon floor while I was cursed, I would always be able to get it back sooner or later. But this might be goodbye for good. And it hurts to say goodbye. I'm reluctant, but it has to be done. I should not have punched that level 6 there, because my enhanced health regeneration, that level 6 is no longer a Shroud Cow, so the fact that he shrouded was due to the glitch. I wasn't trying to do that, I stopped as soon as I realized it, and considering I just had Infinite Darkness a moment ago, I don't think it made a huge difference in the run's outcome, but full disclosure, I did mess that up a little there. And apparently I didn't realize it. No, past me, what are you doing? Well, the fact of the matter is it's no more infinite than it was like 5 seconds ago, so I'm not really profiting from it. That's It's really embarrassing, though, considering I went out of my way so far to avoid anything that could be seen as exploiting the having 0 attack power, which was relevant. It meant I couldn't do Tiki-Tuki the way I wanted to. If I'd had 0 attack power, I could have done that easily. And now that I don't have infinite resources anymore, I'm getting serious. I'm actually using my death protection in combat. Since I no longer have the exact correct amount of defenses, I'm no longer too concerned about making sure I have the right values. You know what I should have done? I should have just taken 1 stack of corrosion. And that 1 stack of corrosion would have effectively cancelled out the 1 extra healing, and I would have had my infinite darkness back. That would have done it. That would have been the smart thing to do. Okay, so, this build's even more ridiculous than I thought. I finally remember the Whoopaz, but like at this point it seems so late. Like, I may as well just hold on to it until the end. If things go south, I do think I might be able to set up an infinite again, involving a conversion to Earth Mother and some very specific fine form moves. But I'm really hoping that doesn't need to happen. Horatio suddenly vanishes. In his place, you see a strange character trying to pick up scattered papers. I'll be honest, we just stuck references here because I figured no one could pull this off. So congrats! I don't really have something else insightful to tell you, but I couldn't win this, so I'm definitely not going to let you pull it off. Really, it's too bad you won't see the end or something like that. Regards, the Avatar Game Master. I didn't read that fast enough. Perfectionist is his flavor-only trait. And this guy is crazed regeneration, so that means I can't regen fight him like I normally could. But my full clip is 6 fireballs. Each fireball deals roughly 100 damage. So it seems like I should be able to just throw some fireballs, take Chaos Avatar, and then throw some fireballs again, and that will win me the fight without doing any exploration. So that's what my plan is going to be. And this is where I have a moment of sheer panic, because look at that darkness. I'm locked in. Once I start the fight, I can't really go outside and get to my resources out there, such as Jahora Jahayu's altar. If I still had my trusty Waitwood, I could move the avatar near the entrance so that wouldn't be an issue. But I don't. So under normal circumstances, I would just, burn some mana potions, drink my Schadenfreude potion, but I don't have any of those. I spent all my mana potions and health potions way back at the start to have these massive health and mana bars. I don't have the gold to buy a Schadenfreude potion, even if I converted to Tiki Tuki again. Getting 10 gold from one boon there wouldn't be enough. I'd need to get 50, and there's no way I can get that much Tiki Tuki piety without setting up a loop. So, this is just kind of in shock. The Avatar, I kind of scoffed when he was like, I'm going to stop you from winning, because it's like, yeah, sure, kid. None of the monsters so far were able to stop me, but with crazed regeneration combined with the troll shrouding and the layout of this map, it really does seem like he can stop me. I feel now sort of like I felt when I found the Beholder room and realized, oh, they have Mana Burn and Riposte. Without Soul Orb, I'm just screwed. Except, even more so, because that was only the 3rd floor of the tower. This is 9th. The run's been going for, what, an hour and 40 minutes maybe by now? I can't have come this far just to lose. Can't have come this far. There must be something. Like every other problem the tower's thrown at me I've been able to solve. And by solve, I mean had an infinite pool of resources available, so I just didn't care. Do I just wish for really good luck on the rolls with Dragon Soul? but then I wouldn't have the health resources. I guess I have Helpma as well. So I suppose if I had infinite darkness, something I could do is keep going up there trying to burst him down with just a bunch of Burned Erases and Helpma. If Dragon Soul cooperates, great. If not, go back downstairs, get some darkness back, reset. But I can't manufacture darkness anymore. Or at least I'm not seeing the corrosion method of doing so. Which means that's not an option. But I have a cunning plan. I am able to get 2 hits in and still not be locked in because I can cut around the corners. So I'm going to drink my Whoopaz here, and I'm really lucky I still had that. And then that I can still go outside, go to Johora Jeheyu. I should have taken Last Chance instead there. I didn't notice it, but leveling up with Chaos Avatar did turn off my plate mail because I got cursed from the Cursed Cutlass. Converting Get In There. Luckily I took Refreshment a long time ago. Converting Helpma. That really hurts, but I need the mana. And it's enough. Horatio's back. Once again, I found an impossible situation that even my infinite resources couldn't solve, and once again I found a solution. But with no Helpma left. Like, Helpma is what carried me this whole way. But I can out-regen fight Horatio. And I still have a lot of darkness left, so really I'm just hoping that there isn't a 4th mini-boss. I don't know what those are called exactly, when Horatio's at like 1 HP exactly. Because as long as there isn't, I think I'll be okay, and I think that there won't be, because I think the mini-bosses are the 3 devs of the mod. But one never knows. This is the end. Next hit win. I've done it. I'd like nothing more than to just leave now, but I did prep Scrooge at the start, and I'd feel a little awkward about having prepped it if I didn't at least poke my head down. Don't worry, if you're checking the video length, you'll probably see I'm not actually going to win Scrooge. This golden spoon seems kind of interesting. I wonder what +1 of everything means. Like, I'm assuming health, mana, and attack to start with, but like +1 Burning Strike, +1 Corrosive Strike. I've noticed that like the new items that say, like the Frozen Crown from Endless Blizzard, it says +1 Burning Strike, which at the time I thought just meant it stacks with War Garble, so you can apply 2 fire for each hit. But now I'm wondering, maybe it's phrased that way to make Burning Strike a thing you can get +1 to, so that Golden Spoon can give you one of those? I don't know, I'll have to try it out. I'm punching the Meat Man there to weaken myself. Johora Jeheyu's Chaos Avatar removed all my weakness, so if I want to get my attack power low again so that I can start, you know, using Shroud Cows, that's what I'm going to need. doesn't matter too much. Not at this point. I punched the level 6 and saw the tile run shroud, so that told me, hey, the glitch is active, can't punch the level 6 at the moment. Really don't know what causes that glitch. I'm just going to be doing some more stuff at the end here. It's not going to amount to a whole lot. There's something kind of interesting with Earth Mother, but I'm not going to be doing the boss parade. Funny, the Cursed Cutlass can still be used to strip these guys' resists. Wasn't a use I'd even thought of. I'd completely forgotten about Scrooge when I set this up. Or I prepped it at the very start and then completely forgot about it until the very end. And honestly, I'm exhausted. I'm very satisfied with this run. Anything from here on seems like an anticlimax. Look at how long this conversion takes. I was terrified at this point that the game was actually just going to freeze and crash and die, and I wouldn't get to screenshot my sweet victory screen. So for the reason for the Earth Mother conversion is I want my piety, or my shroud farm back. Currently I have too much defense, but what I can do is convert plate mail to get rid of its defense, and then take exactly the right amount of vine form in order to give myself exactly the damage reduction needed to make one of those level 5s a perfect Shroud Cow. So alright, so testing it out. I'm taking 21 damage with each hit. And I'm healing 19. I thought I would only take 20. It turns out I've got 1 stack of corrosion. At the time, I had no idea where that stack came from. In retrospect, I now realize that it came from picking up the golden spoon where Horatio died, because where Horatio died is also where Spleen died, and Spleen was corrosive, so we left a corrosive pool that I just didn't notice. So I've got my loot back, but without Helpma, I can't actually make a health profit anymore. I can turn health into mana, but I can't refill the dungeon with darkness. I can't refill my health bar indefinitely. So lack of Helpma means I no longer have the truly infinite resources that I previously did. If I still had the Helpma, then I probably would have, like, you know, gritted my teeth and finished off the boss parade, even though it's like a clear anticlimax. But since that's not the case, I'm not going to be going all the way through this. Music cut out there. That's because the game window, like, minimized for some reason. I think Windows thought I was clicking on something behind the window, but that made me more conscious of, hey, there's glitches happening. The game almost didn't let me convert to Earth Mother. I could have crashed right there. And that means that there's a real risk in attempting to continue the run any further instead of just claiming my victory while I have it. And looking at this Iron Man, that's a lot of ticks. I'm just gonna skedaddle. See ya! Very long loading screen here. So, Vicious Gaan-Telet, Curious version with Vicious token. It's doable not by going infinite on Piety, but by going infinite on Darkness, and in doing so, going infinite on everything else in existence. Except potions. I didn't get potions. Some very close calls there, If it hadn't been for Blood to Power, I'd have lost. If there hadn't been a second Tiki-Tuki altar, I'd have lost. If, almost didn't make it past the Avatar and his crazed regeneration. If I'd thought to use the long rant on Horatio before buying the Cursed Cutlass, I don't think I would have made it past Spleen. So, extremely close game. Hope you enjoyed whatever this nonsense was. I look forward to the incoming troll nerfs. Wow. I'm exhausted, honestly. Just wow.